It's the day after 49ers win, and it's also Elijah Mitchell Day. That's what happens when you have 32 touches, 168 yards on two injuries as a rookie. You get George Kittle commemorating the performance right after the game. Look at George Kittle right here. That's his Elijah Mitchell shirt. High respect from George Kittle, who's out there in front of Elijah Mitchell blocking. Now, don't forget that the 49ers made this a team effort against Minnesota yesterday. They have fast blockers too. And Elijah Mitchell's a fast running back, but the 49ers, boy, they get out to the edge quickly. I was able to see one of Elijah Mitchell's runs on the outside zone to the left side. And George Kittle was just out there sprinting and he's getting on top of defensive backs. At 250 pounds, that's extremely impressive. Debo Samuel had a huge run early in the third quarter where he's sprinting down that right sideline, 40 to 50 yards down the field. Daniel Brunskill, 49ers right guard. I get it. He's a former tight end during his days at San Diego State, but Daniel Brunskill was 40 or 50 yards out in front of the play. In fact, I'm beginning to believe that 40-yard dash times actually matter for 49ers offensive linemen because we saw Weston Richburg back in 2019 way out ahead of Richie James, 40 to 50 yards on that play against Arizona. Obviously, we see Trent Williams sprinting downfield. Alex Mack has been a hustler for the 49ers. And I mean, he's getting closer to 40 than he's the 30. But yesterday, the 49ers blocking apparatus was impressive. The top two graded run blockers were Trent Williams and then Tom Compton at right tackle, which is a big development. The 49ers are obviously better at run blocking than they are in pass protection. And that's great news for Elijah Mitchell. But you know what's great news for the 49ers blockers is that Elijah Mitchell is running behind them. We have seen this kid's vision grow in front of our eyes to the point where he looks like a veteran back out there. And again, two injuries, a rib injury for him, which is extremely painful, and a broken finger. And Elijah Mitchell still managed 32 touches for 168 yards with a couple injuries. That is what we call a workhorse. Now, I'm sure you saw the title of the video. Can Elijah Mitchell win Rookie of the Year? Well, Mac Jones of the Patriots is the obvious Rookie of the Year favorite because he's a quarterback, but we cannot ignore what Elijah Mitchell is doing. He is top 10 in all running back metrics right now, including this one amongst rookies. Now, top 10 overall, I mean, for Elijah Mitchell, but this is just amongst the rookie running backs. Take a look at rushing yards per game. 86.6 for Elijah Mitchell. Najee Harris is over 20 yards behind him. Now, if I do total rushing yards, Najee Harris is above him at 708, but Mitchell is almost there. 15 yards behind despite playing three fewer games. So if Elijah Mitchell can continue to play through these injuries over the course of the 49ers' final six regular season games, he's on track to put on some massive numbers. I mean, he could have 1,000-yard rushing season as a rookie at 5 yards a carry. So it is about health. But at that point, if Elijah Mitchell does that, considering how important he's been to this 49ers offense, and considering the fact that he isn't only an outside zone runner, I mean, we saw him run a ton of inside zone. We saw him run power stuff near the goal line yesterday to get into the end zone. If Elijah Mitchell finishes with 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns at least, while also being a receiving threat, and yesterday he was, I have it right here. Yesterday, receiving Elijah Mitchell was the 49ers' most targeted receiver, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 35 yards. I mean, not gaudy numbers, but if he's a targeted receiver, if he, delivers a couple highlight reel receiving plays, has that 1,000-yard rushing season, and delivers for the 49ers in the red zone. I mean, this is the best red zone team on record right now. The 49ers have scored over 77% of the time in the red zone. That's only been done once before, and they still have a higher percentage than the 2019 Tennessee Titans, who had that previous high clip. I mean, if Elijah Mitchell's central to that entire effort, you absolutely have to consider him a Rookie of the Year candidate. I'm not trying to take anything away from Mac Jones, but I also need to be realistic about Mac Jones. And I realize that these awards are always biased toward quarterbacks. So this is more for just discussion purposes. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a voter for these awards and that somehow this video is going to tip the scales. But we have to remember that the New England Patriots in this 2021 season are a defense and special teams driven team. This is unadjusted expected points added per play. So we're looking at quarterback efficiency across the board. This is for the entire season. By the way, this is not a Jimmy Garoppolo video, but look who's number one in quarterback efficiency this year. It goes Garoppolo, Aaron Rodgers, and then Kyler Murray. We can talk about that in another video. Mac Jones is down at number 12. So obviously he's the highest of all the rookies, although the rookies are not doing well at all. Trevor Lawrence is 24. Do we even have enough? I don't think we even have enough snaps from the other guys because Zach Wilson's been hurt. Joe Burrow in his second year is down here, number 14. But what Mac Jones has done is undeniably impressive since he's at number 12. He definitely has been the most polished rookie quarterback in this 2021 draft class. All power to him. That's what we expected him to be. But at the end of the day, the New England Patriots, who are surging right now, are not driven by Mac Jones, right? Quarterback efficiency is not driving this football team. The Patriots have the best defense in the league, and they have the best special teams unit in the league. And Mac Jones is doing a good job holding and gluing it together with good efficiency, especially over his last few games. He started to climb up the chart, but he's still not a top 10 guy efficiency-wise. Whereas right now, Elijah Mitchell's right above that top 10 as far as all running back metrics are concerned. So just objectively speaking, who's been more effective at his respective position, Elijah Mitchell or Mac Jones? Well, the efficiency numbers, and I'm talking across the board here. I'm talking even rushing yards over expectation, which measures how well Elijah Mitchell's gains extra yardage. The efficiency numbers right now seem to slightly favor Elijah Mitchell. And again, he's not a quarterback, and that's going to hurt Elijah moving forward. But I think he deserves some respect. And I think he got some respect from George Kittle himself when he wore the Elijah Mitchell t-shirt yesterday at the post-game press conference. And Elijah Mitchell, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a guy that's soft-spoken. He is humble. And according to his college coach in this article that's posted to my left, he'll show up at the complex in jeans and boots on. This is a piece I wrote back in May. And I think this quote right here encapsulates exactly what the 49ers have gotten from Elijah Mitchell. This kid's a tough kid, Louisiana coach Billy Napier said of Mitchell in a phone interview earlier this month. He's from Erath, Louisiana, grew up in a rural setting. He'll show up at the complex in jeans and boots on. He's been out at the farm. This is a no-nonsense family. This guy was raised the right way. I mean, don't you see that in his running style? You see a blue-collar farm guy just show up and just start working. I mean, he has a broken finger. He's a plastic protector over a broken finger with a pin in the finger, just over a week following surgery. He's touching the ball 32 times. I mean, this was an injury that a lot of Twitter doctors said, oh, it's going to keep him out 4 weeks because he had a pin in his finger. Not Elijah Mitchell. He'll put that plastic cover right over the finger. He'll play through some pain, and he'll give the 49ers what they need as that spine of their offense. In that running game, the 49ers just need a guy to inflict some bruises, especially this season when injuries left and right are again happening to this running back room. Trey Sermon was carted off yesterday. Jeff Wilson's obviously still coming back from the meniscus tear, and he hasn't been nearly as effective as he was before. The 49ers have had to resort to using Deebo Samuel in the backfield, and guess what? Deebo Samuel is now hurt with that groin strain. So the load after Samuel's injury yesterday was all on Elijah Mitchell, and he was just grinding some meat over the course of that last drive. It was that blue-collar, workman-like effort, and that's what the book on Elijah Mitchell is. He was raised the right way, grew up on the farm in Louisiana, went to work, running for the Raging Cajuns, watched Leonard Fournette a lot growing up in Louisiana, and then Jabbar Juluki, who was Elijah Mitchell's running backs coach at Louisiana Lafayette, was actually Leonard Fournette's running backs coach at LSU. So they watched a lot of Leonard Fournette tape, and that's, I think, where Elijah Mitchell, even though he's a smaller guy than Fournette, really developed that hard-nosed running style. But the main thing for me is that He can run inside zone. He can run outside zone. The book on Elijah Mitchell obviously starts with his athleticism. I mean, he had a 99th percentile athleticism score. The 49ers somehow got this guy in the 6th round, which is unbelievable to me. He perfectly fits the 49ers system from an athletic profile, right? He's fast. He can burst it outside. That Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns, his college team, they actually studied the 49ers offense. They studied the Shanahan outside zone. And Mitchell was, because of that, was so familiar with what the 49ers run that he was a plug and play piece for day one for this 49ers offense. But on top of being able to execute that outside zone bread and butter with his athleticism, you combine that, that speed and that burst with Mitchell's toughness. And that means that he could run the inside zone. That means he could deliver on the goal line. And that means he can overcome the injuries that he has. And that means he's a complete back 11 games into his rookie season. So Mac Jones might be the obvious rookie of the year favorite because he's a quarterback and the award is unfair like that. But Mac Jones, I don't think has been as good of a quarterback as Elijah Mitchell has been a running back. And I think that's just the fact of the matter when you look at the metrics and then when you look at the intangibles. And the intangibles are on display again here with George Kittle wearing that Elijah Mitchell shirt. George Kittle's a tough guy. George Kittle knows how to inflict bruises. George Kittle's been through some bruises on the football field. I sure think that he has some now the day after inflicting a lot of pain. I mean, the blocking isn't easy. And I think George Kittle right now and that 49ers blocking apparatus have some bruises of their own after that physical effort. But these guys know. These guys know that Elijah Mitchell is getting the job done. Top 10 in all running back metrics, 32 touches for 168 yards with 2 injuries. I mean, that's a hell of a performance. And I think in a workman-like sport like football, in this fantasy football era, we like to look at QB. But let's be honest. Elijah Mitchell is doing a hell of a job, a blue-collar effort from him. And he's going to be even more important if Deebo Samuel misses some time for the 49ers. So hat tip to Elijah Mitchell. That was an awesome game. I'm open for some questions. Niners sickness. I just became a subscriber to The Athletic. Can't beat $1 a month. Hell yes. Today is the final day of the Black Friday $1 a month sale. So you can subscribe through this Elijah Mitchell article if you would like. I'm putting it down here in the chat for $1 a month for a whole year. I do not think that you can find a better deal on Black Friday. You are correct. Mitchell's Terrell Davis 2.0, very possibly. I mean, the 49ers are able to unearth talent in the later rounds at running back, and obviously that's a Shanahan, Bobby Turner thing. That goes back to the Denver days. You think Elijah Mitchell could stay healthy at the rate that they are using him? Well, he's not healthy right now, and he's still playing. So it's not a question of Elijah Mitchell staying healthy. It's a matter of, can he stay healthy enough to play? And this guy is tough. I mean, everybody's going to be hurt when you run an offensive scheme that's designed to bruise the defense. You're going to get bruised too. And Elijah Mitchell's bruised. He's a little broken, right? His finger's broken, but he's still playing. That's where the mentality comes in. This kid is a football player. He grew up with those cowboy boots on. That's how he shows up to the facility. And that's how he's running for the 49ers right now. 32 touches with 2 injuries. It looked like he came out of the game fine. We'll find out more a little bit later today. But I mean, as long as it's not a major injury, I see him out there playing. He's earned that respect. Mitchell versus Mostert is speed running backs. Mostert is faster, but Mitchell is still fast and is more physical. Yes, of course. He is more physical for those yards after contact. Now, Mostert has got an otherworldly boost. That burst, I guess I should say, not a boost, a speed boost, but a burst. Mitchell has a burst. He can get through some of those tight holes in the outside zone. I talked about it after the game in Chicago where the 49ers needed to hit those. But, I mean, the mentality, God, that guy, he's just rugged. He's rugged and he's fast and he's got a chance to be really special. I think that he already is. I mean, it's just, he makes a difference, Elijah Mitchell does, when he's out there for the 49ers. Yeah, give him honorary Yak Bro status. Good stuff. All right, awesome. Elijah Mitchell, stud for the 49ers. They've got to be really happy about what they're getting from him. And I think that his name at least needs to be in the mix for Offensive Rookie of the Year heading into these final 6 games of the regular season. He can do so much for the 49ers. He's so important to this offense. And you're only beginning to see the level of importance and the level of play that Elijah Mitchell can bring the 49ers. I think we're just scratching the surface right now. I don't care if rookie of the year normally goes to a quarterback if he is the most prominent player in the mix. Mac Jones has been having a fine season, but I'm just here to tell you that Elijah Mitchell has been great too. Subscribe to the channel. More 49ers content coming. In fact, 2 more videos coming over the next couple hours. And then maybe a third one. So 4 total for today after Kyle Shanahan speaks. I'm going to keep on pumping this stuff out. Let's get to 5,000 really quick. All right, guys, take care.